Hello everyone, this is Vinay here from Learn Coding with Vinay again, and this is a video number 2 or part 2 of the video series Employee Management System. Here we are developing EMS system using ASP.NET Core, MVC, EF, Entity Framework, and Bootstrap. Right. So in this part 2, we will cover to configure our project uh, for Entity Framework usage, and we'll be using Entity Framework code as a first approach, right? And we will put down some entities, and we'll also generate our first migration. So let's start with it. So before we configure, before we configure it for entity framework code, let's do two quick things that we missed in our previous video. If we go to the browser, then we don't need this search functionality in our application, so we'll be removing this. And we missed to add two more menu items, which are login and logout. So let's do it quickly. So let me do this first. Let me remove this. Let me add two more menu items very quickly. I would say this will be login, and this will be logout. Right, so let's say save it and let's see if they are reflecting. So again, I'll have to rebuild the code. Let's see. So sometime hot reload works, sometime doesn't work. It really, Microsoft claims that it works every time, but I have personally faced that it doesn't work sometime. So let's wait. I have run the project. Let me pause the video as of now. Yeah, so project is up and running now, and we can see the login and log out buttons also. So think they should be the last option in the menu item. I just missed it. Let me do it again. Let me save it, and see if they are reflecting. Yeah, okay, now it's good. So the menu items are all looks good, and they are properly aligned as well. Right. Now the next thing is to, as I said, let me stop this. As I said, we will be using chat gpt extensively, right, for this purpose, for generating EMS. So the purpose of this video is to, not to know ASP.NET Core, but how we can, if you know, even if you have intermediate level of knowledge about ASP.NET, then how best you can use chat gpt to, turn around things quickly. That's what the intention behind this video series is, right? So let's move ahead. So the now the next is now project the next would be to set up the project, for entity framework core usage, right? So for that, what we'll have to do, we'll have to create a prompt. We'll have to ask chat gpt that what it should give us, right? So let me, you know go to chat gpt, and let me, I have already set, the background to chat gpt that what we will be doing over here. So so the next prompt I have created in the background, and I'll be, just copy pasting it over here, and let's see how it guides us. And although I will explain what this prompt is all about, right? So let me just copy paste it over here from where I created. So as I am telling it that, as we discussed in previous chat, we will be using ASP.NET Core 8.0, EF Core, and Bootstrap to design the website, and we will be using EF Core first approach. And I am already telling ChatGPT that we have created the project. The basic templates and menu items are in place. Now ChatGPT needs to guide us in terms of configuring the project uh, with entity framework code first approach. Right. So what all things are required for entity framework code first approach, that I have written it down over here. Right. So I requested ChatGPT to, guide us step by step, starting from package installation to setting up the program and program.cs and set app setting connection strings, right? So I have given it a strict instruction that what how it should guide me, right? Now you should know a bit of ASP.NET Core. You won't be able to one won't be able to blindly go on any AI agent and, bombard it with prompt and expect the solution, right? You will have to at least know the fundamentals of a programming language, and then you can go to any AI agent and then that agent will be able to understand you and help you better. So right, so that's why I have written it over, the prompt over, written it over here. You can pause the video and read it out whenever you feel. Now one key thing I want to add over here is, see, the prompt I have written, as I said, I have already set the background to ChatGPT that this is what we are going to achieve. So the prompt I have used may work for me, may not work for you, right? Depending on the time spent between you and ChatGPT, because I have been using ChatGPT for more than 2 or 2.5 years now, right? So ChatGPT knows my writing style, it knows my emotion behind the my question, and it comes up with an answers, right? So if you try this, then the response from ChatGPT may differ in your case, right? The response in my case may be different, and response in your case may be different, right? So don't just expect that it has to be carbon copy of uh, what we see in this video and what you will be getting, right? But the concept over here is to learn prompt engineering is also quite important thing. We need to ask certain question in certain manner only, so that it gives us the better response, right? So let me push this prompt to the chat gpt and let's see what it comes up with, right? Okay, so now it is generating response. As I said, guide me to from beginning to from package installation to setting up the connection string, database context. Okay, so it has given me these packages are required to be installed first thing. Then we need to add a db contact class somewhere in data folder. Okay, we'll follow these steps, don't worry. Configure this. Okay, we'll have to put down connection string in app setting.json, register db contacts in program.cs. Okay, then verify directory structure. Okay, yeah, we will have this directory structure. Okay, and the next step I have told ChatGPT that I'll be sharing the entities from where we will begin. So let's add in this, at this moment, let's try to configure what ChatGPT has done. So it says that install so and so packages. So let's go ahead and install this first package. If I go over, I will go to tools, and while installing package, make sure our program is not up and running. It should be in stop mode. Right, so we'll go to the second option. Just waiting for to come up. Okay, there it is. We'll go to browse over here. I'll just copy paste over here, and make a search. So it is still searching. This is not the one of them. Ideally it should be come first only in the list. Let's say, let me see what is wrong. Let me see. It's Microsoft Entity Framework .sql server. Yeah, that's true. Let me install this first, and then we will go for Microsoft SQL Server. Okay, it is coming up. So let me try this. Okay, now it is coming up. Okay, so let me select this. Select your project. In case of you have a solution value where you have multiple projects, make sure you are installing into the correct project only. And also, since we have created the project in 8.0, we will have to make sure that our packages are 8 dot something only. Right? We can take 9.1. Right, so let me install this. So once it is installed, this uninstall button will be enabled. So let's wait for a while. And again, if this is taking time, I'll pause the video and start again. Okay, so I have resumed the video, right? So this package got installed, right? Sorry, this one, it got installed. Let me, no, ideally uninstall button should have been enabled. I don't know what happened. Let me, yeah, now it is. And where we can see it, we'll have to go to dependency packages, and over here we can see the package installed. Right. Now let's move to the second package, which is entity framework core tools. So let me select this. Let me select this project. It is okay. Let me select the highest of 8 and let's say install. Again, let it take time. And again, if it is taking time, I'll pause the video. Okay, it is taking time. It should be up now. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Still not. I don't know why it is taking so much time. But let me pause my video. Okay, so so I have resumed the video. It is installed now. We can see two packages over here. Now for the next one, what I will do, I'll just install it, and one is installed. I'll share on video. So let me go to quickly chat GPT. Now this package will be required to generate automated code. That's why I have written that command. That make sure you give me the package installation for those also that is required to generate lot of automated code. Right, so let me go over here. Let me press enter. Let me select this, and over here also we'll take the 8.7. I'll say install, and I'll just stop the installation. I'm stopping the video. So okay, so I have resumed the video and all these three packages are installed. Let me just go ahead and build the project. First of all, just uh, make sure once you install the package, save, you hit this button save all, because we need to save the project files, because project file will have the entry of this installed package. Right. Let me go ahead quickly on project file and show you if that is coming up. And let's wait for a while. Yeah. Okay, see, we have package entries over here. Right, so that's why we'll have to, so because it installs the package, it makes an entry to the package, this project file. But if we miss to save that file, then there are good chances that this package installation may not help us in project. We'll have to redo it. Right, so let me stop this. Let me go over here, and now we are done with package installation. Let me just build this project once, and again I'll stop the video if it is taking time, and resume it again. Build. So yeah, I have resumed the video. After package installation, nothing broke. Everything was built successfully. Right. So our project is actually with ready with the required packages. Now let's move to the next step. Now what does it say? Next step, it says create the data folder, and in that data folder create a class called application db context. Right. So let's do that. So I'll go here. I'll right click on project. I'll say add. I'll say add. I'll say folder. Okay, let's wait. I don't know, for some reason it is taking, every time it is taking a lot of time in my machine. Data. Okay. Now next is let's create this class in the same, in the data folder. So I'll say right click, add class. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So let me just go ahead and add application context.cs. I'll just say add, and then I'll just copy paste this in the class. Let the class come up. There you go. And let me see what I have copied actually. Yeah, from the class. Yeah, let's wait. So it will be from here to here. We'll just copy paste it, right? And we may need to add some namespaces depending on our configuration. Yeah, okay, so let me just control dot, let me press control dot, and it will give us the required namespace name. Let's wait. Let me do it again, control dot. Yes, okay. Okay, so they are gone, right? And now we will have to add this to actually data set, but we'll add it later when we add the entities. As of now it is giving us the error, but let me just comment out it, right? So let me save it. Now let's move to the step again, right? Now the next step says add configuration connection string in app setting.json. So let's do one thing, copy this thing, go to our Visual Studio, go to app setting.json. Okay, okay, just below this we will have to say comma and enter and control paste, right? So what we will be doing, we'll replace this connection string with our connection string that I have already ready with me. So I'll just take it up from there. So I'm pasting it over here, and instead of db1 we will do poc ems db. Right, so we are taking the database as poc ems db. So here we have, this is my local server. This will be the database where it will be created once we generate the first migration. Then this is the user and password name. Okay, ignore it as of now. Trust server certificate is equal to true. So this will be our connection string. Let me close this. Let me open the program.cs and let's move to the next step. Now register db context in program.cs. So what do we need to do? We need to take this line and we need to copy paste it over here before the app, where app, right? So again here we might have to add our project.data because our db context class is within the data folder. Okay, so pocems dot data, and over here probably we'll have to have the entity framework core. Great, right? So now what we did over here is we let the project know, entire project, that okay boss, you are supposed to use this db context class to perform database operation, and ultimately whenever we are calling we using this class, this db context class, it will be using this connecting string and pointing to whatever server and database listed over here, which is listed over here, right? So these are these two steps. So let me close this and let me come to the step here again, right? So now it says verify the structure. We have models, data, controllers, okay, we have all these things, right? We have models, data, controllers, views, right? We have all these things, and in the data folder we have just added the application db context, right? Now the next step, before the next step would be to generate two entities, right? So I have also generated prompt for that. So let me go to this and take up the prompt, and I'll explain the prompt over here. So I'm copy pasting it over here. Okay, so let me quickly explain this. Then I am telling it, okay, you need to create this role class that should have three properties: id, role name, and is active. Id will be running number, role number is the name of the role, is active is whether that role is active or not. And again in the employee, we have certain fields, that again id, full name, Mobile number we will be using at as a login, a username, and mobile number or email, anything is fine. But since we are catering small industry, they are used to of having a mobile number as a username, and otherwise email is a primary thing to be used as username. Then we'll be using 4-digit pin as a password. Address, employee's address, whether his employee is active or not, right? Then payroll type, whether that employee is a salaried employee or a daily wage employee, right? Then employee salary, daily wage rate, then when did the employee join, what is the last date of employee if in case of resigned, reporting to who is the reporting manager of that employee, right? Then if you go anywhere, that you have to submit your identity, right? So just we are keeping a record of what was submitted, and we are not building a functionality that they can scan the document and upload it, right? To keep the thing simple, as of now I have just taken the name what was submitted with the maybe resume or something like this, right? So it can be Aadhaar card, PAN card, or driving license, or any other identification document, right? Then the profile picture, then the image URL, that is profile picture name. So basically image file name, right? Because we will have to store employee images as well. And then the role ID, role of that employee, right? Now over here we have requested ChatGPT that generate require model class. So we gave it possible entity and attributes name, and now we are requesting it to generate class for us, right? Entity class. And also at the same time we are telling it that okay, once you generate it, once that generation is done, give me the code of db context that with some default values as well. So we want to generate the entities, but at the same time we want to make sure that whenever the first migration is generated, we feed in some data into the database also, right? So that's what I have said. Okay, for role, make 3 entries: admin, owner, employee, and manager. And for employee, Sachin Tendulkar will be admin, Saurav Ganguly would be manager, Rahul Dravid would be an employee, as active employees only, and take other random data, randomly. So let's say what it is giving us. So it is generating the output, and yeah, it is saying that now we should start creating class. It says that create a class called role, and the role will have these many things: id, role name, and is active. And it is also defining relationship between employees, because one role will have many employees, right? So let's see now the employee. Now we have employee, so we have id, we have full name, we have mobile, we have email, we have pin, we have address, we have is active, payroll, salary, joining date, end date, reporting to, identity submitted, image URL, role ID. Okay, so here we are defining the relationship of an employee to role ID, right? Now the application context. Now these two data set we can enable, and it has given us the default code as well, right? Now, but let me see what did he did for the pin. This should be ideally encrypted. It is saying that this should be ideally encrypted. Okay. Okay, so ideally, your pin or password field should be encrypted using one or the other mechanism. Either it should be encrypted by the front end or back end. So most of the time, Chat GPT has suggested that you add one more column called salt, right? And use that salt column to uh, encrypt the password. So let's see, we will be following this step, but let me inform chat gpt that probably you missed this. Should you Let me type this over here. Should we take salt column in employee model and use it to encrypt the the pin? So let's say if yes, if yes, then please regenerate the code, right? Because we want the newer code in that case. So let's see what it gives. Yeah, that's a very good suggestion. It says, so let's say what change it has made. So hashed bin, it is giving it as a hashed bin. Okay. Salt. Okay. Now salt will be one GUID in most of the cases. Let's say what it uses over here. So okay, so okay, helpers. It says to create a helper class. Okay, let's move ahead. Okay, it is still generating the output. Let's wait. Yeah, it is generating now. So over here it is generating salt using a security helper class. And let me see what it has put down over here. Has pin is okay, has pin salt. So it is encrypting the pin with this, and this will be pin and it will be encrypted using this key. So it is doing some sort of encryption over here. So let's say what others looks like. Okay, run migration. Okay, now we will use this code actually. So first thing, from the above we will just add, first we will add the role class and put down the entities over there. So let me go to Visual Studio. Let's go to model. I'll say right click, add. I'll say class. We'll give it a name as role. Say enter. Right, and I'll just copy paste this inside it. All right. And as of now, let me comment out this because we have not generated the employee class yet. Right. Now I'll go ahead and add one more class. I'll give it a name employee. Let's say add. And then we'll go to the next prompt where it gave us with the salt. So we'll use that one. Okay, so ideally I can just copy paste the entire thing because it knows our project name and everything. So otherwise what happens usually, it gives us the namespace according to its project name, but we have given it, so this blindly copy pasting should work. Right. Okay, so here is the relationship defined. Here we have here we have salt. Okay, great. And here we are has been, it is storing as a string. That is fine. Right, so let me save this. Right, so this is done. Now let me go ahead and enable this also. Now it should work. Right, so it specified the relationship as well. And this is required because ultimately this will be transferred into database table with primary key and foreign key relationship. Right, so we'll see that in action. Now it is saying that add a helper method to hash pins. Okay, now so we'll have to create a helper folder, and in that we'll have to create this class because to encrypt the password, remember whenever employee is edited, our newly created, that newly created employee should always have the hashed password. Right, so that is the reason it suggested us to have a separate class altogether for doing encryption and decryption. Has been will sort. Right, so let's create this folder called helpers in the project. Right click, I'll say add folder. Let's say copy paste helpers. In that I'll say right click, add. We'll say class, and what was the class name? We'll take the exact class name, security helper. Okay, security helper dot cs. I'll say add. Okay, let me just save it once, and then I'll come to over here again and I'll just copy paste blindly this. Right, so save. So here it generated two methods. One to generate salt, basically to have a salt. Right, and second to has pin with salt. So second was to encrypt the pin. Right, so but here one thing, it is still missing, that we will have to decrypt it again. No, this shouldn't be decrypted one. New byte 16 sort random number generator. Okay, so it is random number and then sort. Okay, so let's see what happens. If this is not working, we'll correct this because ideally this should be a GUID. Over here it has used some number, but let's see, we probably missed to instruct that we use GUID for salt generation. That's okay. Let's see. As of now, let's move ahead. Now, you know, go. It says go to data and application context.cs class and then write this. Okay, so let's do that. Now it is saying that go over here. Okay, now we can enable these two. Control KU. I'll just save. We'll just add the require namespace. Now this is good. Now it says on model creating. Okay, we don't have anything. We have to add this method. Now what this method will do, it will add three roles and three users. So let me copy this and let me paste it over here. Right, let me save it. I hope it looks good. No error. No error. Right, now let's see the next step. Now it is says the run migration. Now before running the migration, let's go ahead and build the solution if it is building or not. Let's see. So it is taking time. Let me pause the video. So I just resume the video and see it was built successfully, nothing wrong. So we are in good shape till now, right? So the next step would be, it says let's say the next step is add generate the migration. Now generating migration is two-step process. First is to use add migration command and generate the migration, which will generate a C# file, and then update the database. That will be uh, ac- that will reflect the changes into the database, so that actually commit the changes into the database. So let's see this in action. So let me take this. Let me, it has not given the good name, but I'll will. So over here, what we need to do, we need to go to alternate tools, and you get package manager console. Here, let's wait for PM to come. PM greater than. So let's wait. Okay, great. Now let me write clear over here. I don't want anything. And let me say add migration. I'll say initial migration. What we are adding, role and employees, and feed some data, and we are giving it a long name. Initial migration, role and employee, and feed some data. Right. So let's say add. I will generate one CSAP file. That CSAP file will have a code that will be used by update database command, and ultimately it will put it down into the database. So let's see if it is generating, if there are no error. Again, it is taking time. I'll pause the video. Okay, so I have resumed the video. Migration ran, but it ran with certain warning. We can ignore warning actually, and there. I hope there is no other error. So I don't see anything red over here. So it has generated this CSAP file. Right. So first is to generate the CSAP file using add hyphen migration command. Next would be use update hyphen database command to update these changes. Now when I fire this command, what will happen, it will read this file, take everything into the database. If we see currently, if I go to my SQL Server Management Studio, if I bring it over here, if I expand this, so we at this moment we will not have this database, POC EMSDB, we will not have this database because we are running this migration for the first time. So we don't have it right over here. Right, so let me go ahead and update this database. So, fire this command. So this will generate the database also, generate the table also, two tables, role and employee, and put down this data also. So let's see if this is happening or not. Let me press enter over here, and if this is taking time, I'll pause the video again. Yeah, so I have resumed the video, and it ran. It seems it ran successfully, as I don't see any red error. Yellow warnings are okay. It is giving us some data truncation. Right. So this was done. Now let's see into the database. We saw, earlier we don't have POC EMS DB. Now if I go ahead and refresh this again, this will take some time. But let me do this and let me pause the video. Okay, so I have resumed the video. So now we can see this POC EMS DB. Let me go ahead and expand this. Again, this will again some take time. But let me, just say Control N, and let me open a query window. There we can see our tables. Okay, so let's say you sorry, I'll just say select star from DBO dot role. I'll just say copy and I'll just paste, and here I'll say select star from DBO and employee. So let's run these two together. Okay, it does not say role. Let me see, it might have created roles. Yeah, okay, so employees. Yeah, so sometimes entity framework uses this plural condensation. Actually it gives us the option. Let me tell you, whenever we are going say it says we can change this. Actually it says employees, it says roles, so this is the table name it is going to create. That's what it is saying us. We did not change this, so this is happening, right? So we have this table now. Even if I expand this, we should see this table over here. Sachin got inserted, and mobile, and even has been solved. Okay, this is address Mumbai. Why only Mumbai came? Maharashtra. Okay, yeah. Let it be. That I have not added. Salary is blank. Okay, this is 1200. Okay, this is good. This is good. He is reporting to one. This is reporting to two. Okay, good. This has given other. These are the images. Okay, and these are the role ID 1 2 3. Okay, great. So our table got created very nicely. And apart from this, we will have one more table. Let me tell you that it will be underscore. Let me see if suggests. Otherwise we'll wait for this table to be expanded. I think it's sometimes double underscore. No, the intelligence is not working. Let's say let's wait this table to expand. But till then, let me explain what it did. So it used this file, is created this roles table, right? It created this employees table. At the same time it maintained the foreign key primary key definition. It put down data in this role table, and it uses this data to put it down into the employee table, right? Okay, let's wait till one thing I have noticed over here, and the viewers can also comment that whenever I generate database and tables using this migration, I always have an issue of whenever I go to SSMS and expand these tables, it always takes time. I don't know what to do to reduce this actually. So let me pause the video. Okay, so I have resumed the video now. So we can see these two tables, and we can see one more table which is called EF migration history. So let me, go ahead and run query for that. Let's see what do we have over there. So whatever migration are running, we are running, those all migration will be noted down over here, right? So this is the file we used. This is the migration we ran, and this is it was. So whatever migration going forward, we will be adding more modules in this application, and we will be using add migration and update migration again and again and again, and all entries will lie over here. So as of now it created this database, our two tables and one more extra table that will have the migration history, right? So to summarize, what we did, we created the two entities called role and employee. We configured the project to use entity framework code first approach. Then we added these two entities, and we generated our first migration. and using this migration we also saw that it directly landed into the database, right? So we didn't even touch SQL at the last point of the moment. So the code first approach is actually good for those who doesn't want to touch the database. They can everything do it from the C sharp itself, and just to check whether everything is going smooth or not, they can go to the database and check it. So that's an advantage of your code first approach, right? So one will not have to worry about the database, right? So that's it in this video. We will in the next video we will go over one small CRUD operation that we will use role table to generate CRUD operation, and we'll ask ChatGPT to do that, right? And that's it for this in this video. See you in the next video. Thanks a lot, guys.